Okay, we're live here at the 5-Minute Bark once again with our guest, Goss Lindsey, for round number 2 on Positive Thinking Exposed. I didn't get enough of it before, so I want to jump into it again with Goss here today because we did it as a blab before, and this time I want to kind of resonate with him a little better and kind of listen and understand more because this is a great subject that not only do I want to learn about, but I'm sure my audience out there would love and enjoy as well. So, Goss Lindsey, say hello.
How's it going, everyone? Thanks, Big D, for having me, man.
Awesome. Let's give everybody a background on you first off, because we didn't do that before. So tell everybody a little bit about where you're from and how you came to California and how you got into all the different things you've done in your life real quick.
I'll be brief on it. I'm from Greensboro, North Carolina. Came out here to LA when I was 14, finished school, went back east to Duke, University of Oregon, finished in San Diego at UCSD. I ran track. I've always been interested in writing. I've recently finished a book called Kings of Peace. I've written for years on Quest to Peace on Facebook, and my passion in life is really the understanding of consciousness and reality.
Awesome. So you're going to get a lot of that here today, and you might. I'm going to try to interject when I can, when I think my audience needs more better understanding on that. So we've put signals in place to jump in and learn more. So positive thinking exposed. So what do we exactly mean? What's the definition of that here for today for the show, Goss?
All right, yeah. So this started a couple weeks ago. You had asked me to come on and do a presentation on motivation, positive thinking, and I kind of come from a different angle on it. And I wanted to approach the term and the word as the more historical origin and root meaning of it, so people could kind of understand that positive thinking is only half of the equation, and I wanted to fill out the entire formula.
So what do you mean by that? So it's half the equation.
It's half the equation. So all of life has a positive and negative charge. There's day, there's night. One of the misconceptions about thinking is that all thinking is positive. There's no such thing as negative thinking. And this is something a lot of people don't understand, but very simply we can say, I could tell you, whatever you do, Dennis, don't think of an apple. Don't think of it, right? It's impossible. The brain only works in the positive. And as a matter of fact, the brain is a tool, just like our hand or our body. It's a tool. And what it does is it thinks. Positive by the nature of thinking is a positive action, meaning it moves out into the world. It's defined in esoteric terms as a masculine principle.
So what you're saying is, like when you first say that, we're going to say, well, you can't think in negative thoughts, but we're going to say, yes, I can. I can think that, oh my God, I'm gonna have a bad day. Oh my God. So you're thinking negative thought, but what you're meaning is
the root
of it, like beyond that. So taking a step before that and saying, if you say something, you said it.
Right. All thoughts are positive in that this is an exercise I like to do. If you close your eyes and you imagine all the things your mind wants to move into, these will be your biggest goals, the people you love, the things you fear the most, the things you want to have. They're the same in this way. They all represent a physical, material change in this world for your life, whether it's your health, your way of thinking. It's a temporary change that you're chasing and you're going after. That's what positive thinking really means. All thinking is positive in that way. It moves out. It's the masculine principle of the process. The part I want to talk about is the feminine process, which is called the negative part. And this doesn't have anything to do with thinking. This has to do with reception and awareness. You might have heard in music, famous musicians often say, it's not the notes, but it's the space between the notes that makes the song beautiful. And in life, in our own life, without creating that space, without having that connection to that which is inside or greater for someone that's able to experience something vaster than just here, this is the other half of the equation that leads not to, I don't mean just success in achieving things, but to fulfillment and joy in our lives. Awesome.
So I had a guest on that we kind of ran down this road quickly, and he was saying, and Lee Stein, if you want to watch a brilliant podcast I've done, Lee Stein is an absolutely amazing human being, and you guys would probably have a great conversation. And what he brought up is, what are all these things have in common? And he pointed to the microphone, the keyboard, and his shirt. And he says, what do they all have in common? What do you think the answer is?
Well, everything has one thing in common. It's temporary.
Right. Well, his answer it was thought by human beings. So thought is what produces what we see around us. So this keyboard went through years and years of thought and creation, but it's just a living proof that our mind creates what we are seeing here today and what we are doing around us. So we're manifesting everything that's around us. And if you could take a cell phone, for example, it's this tiny little thing, 10, 20 years ago, they would be like, this is impossible what that thing can do now. And now look at it, it's paper thin. It does everything. It talks to people in Australia. It does video. It does everything. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there for the audience that, what you think is what happens. Is what you're basically.
Yeah. And if you take it a step further, you could imagine the universe made of Lego blocks we call atoms or molecules. We know the earth burns out in time. So not just human things, but of course, the things that humans made, you're right, they have that in common, but the nature of physical reality is that it is all in a temporary form, and that's obvious. I mean, anything we achieve, do in our lives, and we never have something, we attain it temporarily.
Does it transform, or does
That's all things do. The Lego blocks changing forms.
Right. Okay. Good. So going on to more of your in-depth sharing about positive thinking and exposing it. Can you kind of go into a little like we did before?
Yeah, I'll go a little bit of the history, in my opinion. I have a 9 and 11-year-old. Okay. And as children, and psychologists can tell you this, one of the most important things for kids to develop is what they call a healthy ego, meaning self-identity, things that we're proud of. At an early age, we begin to recognize that, to varying degrees between people, that we have the ability through hard work, goals, determination to actually manipulate our own environments. A lot of us started off as athletes, did well in music or whatever, but we were learning something about the universe or the world that we live in that was very positive at the time, right? We have goals, we're moving towards those goals, we're achieving them. Most people in life that do not create a vacuum within themselves where they're connecting to something deeper, meaning the receptive principle that I'm talking about, they only have the positive part. They come to a point in their life, it's like driving a car with your foot on the gas pedal all the time with no map. Right? No inner direction of where you're going, just flying around.
That's a great analogy. Did you hear that out there? I mean,
and not just that, you have billions of cars, right?
Right.
There's that many people just flying around, it's about me. And in most people that are somewhat conscious, healthy, I don't know the right word, they'll come to a point where they recognize that they're achieving these things, they're making money, they're whatever it was, but they feel the same inside. There's no real joy or fulfillment. So one of two things usually happens. People give up, meaning they say, forget it, right? I'm done chasing all these goals. Take the foot off the pedal. It might mean their health goes poor for a while. Or they say, I just need to chase harder, right? I need to put some more fuel in my car and try harder. Well,
octane.
Exactly. The answer might be neither. The answer might be that there comes a point in our lives, and athletes go through this all the time in their 20s. It's about them, and that's great. You need to develop that. The universe is bigger than us. And not only that, we're a part of it. Now, some people don't believe that. This is a fact. Either all things
or maybe when they don't understand it. You can't comprehend it.
You might not understand it.
Kind of like the cell phone situation. Like 20 years ago, we couldn't comprehend that. Now we can comprehend it. So
right.
In due time, we are more aware than we were 30
Hopefully.
years. Yeah.
Hopefully. And if this is the thing about the universe, and I don't want to say I believe in God because it's more than that. I don't believe in gravity. I experience gravity, right? It doesn't matter if you believe in it or not to me. And I'm open to anybody because the worst thing I think you can do is exclude a group from an intellectual conversation that might open doors in somebody's mind to potentials. Either the universe is all connected or nothing's connected. And we know, even through quantum physics, it's connected.
Right.
All of it. So in our little brain, looking through our little eyes, very hard to see how that could be possible. There's either only life or there's only death. I mean, these are concepts that should be challenged, and each person should come to a conclusion without saying, I grew up believing this. And we talked about this earlier. One of the biggest transitions human beings make is when they release the goals and agendas they were fed by the world, the schools, their parents, whatever American dream they were given, and they replace it with what they want.
Their own beliefs,
their own agenda from the inside. And that's where this connection is so important, is people are moving and working and they lose that, what they call motivation, and they're sunk for a little bit. When you're aligned with yourself, meaning your goals are coming from the inside. And to me, this is a greater connection because it has to do with God. But even if somebody doesn't believe that, they're still reaching a part of their being that is deep and wise. They receive inspiration. It's a different feeling. We talked about this. When you're doing something, let's say your goal is to make $1 million and you start robbing jewelry. because, right, that's an action to help you towards your goal.
Absolutely.
You don't feel good inside, and you probably don't have a lot of people standing beside you, reaching out their hand to help you. When you begin to live your life in a place that is truly creative in the sense that you're doing not just what you're capable of, but what you love to do and your passion, which is always connected to God's will for you. Your free will is tied to that in a beautiful way, not a weird way.
Yep.
The magic that happens, and I'll use the word miracle because it's not magic. Brothers, meaning people, beings, whatever you want to call it, life itself takes a different turn, and you're not alone anymore when you lose that motivation because you're truly inspired. You're connected to something. It's like a Wi-Fi signal. And we increase as we develop ourselves into this receptivity. Some people call it prayer, receiving. The Wi-Fi gets stronger until we almost hear it. You know what I mean? I called you up to do this. And things like this on the outside could look like, oh, it's just a coincidence. Well, they're either coincidence or there's not.
No,
there can be no in between.
Right. Well, you know what? There's going back to another situation is I was looking, this is really interesting because I was looking to get an intern at one point, and there was this one day that I was really resonating with myself. I was really feeling from the inside like you're talking about, and I'm not even exaggerating on this. And my guest that was coming that day had called me up, and he said, Dennis, yeah, I'll be there at 1 o'clock or whatever. Do you mind if I bring a guest? I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. He says, well, I want to introduce you to an intern that you may want to be able to take in. I'm like, I'm looking around like, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you kidding me? And I could totally 100% feel that was a total energetic connection.
Right.
100%.
Right.
I mean, right there. And it happens, not often enough, but when you do open up your body to it, it does come.
Right. And with that, I mean, we studied Tony Robbins, law of attraction. Now, I'm not knocking that because learning how to create with your brain is a very positive and good tool if used correctly. It can heal millions. Mm-hmm. It can create things that make people's lives better. All these things are wonderful. What it doesn't teach you and can't teach you, because the nature of the mind only does what it does, which is go get what you want it to get. That's his job. Mm-hmm. Alignment and what you're talking about, when you have that inspiration where there's another gear out there churning and you start becoming attuned to it, right? After it happens a few times, I remember when I was first experiencing this in my teens, going, what the heck? And before I knew it, it was normal. Right?
Yeah.
Those intuitions, somebody's about to call you, or the things that mattered. I don't want to make it sound trite, but that you're truly not alone, and that you're living from a place that people will respect you if they like you. They might not understand, but that's okay, because what you're trying to do is, like anybody would do for a friend, you want to help them. You want their lives to be as good and fulfilled as possible. That's what I want for you, right? For anybody. I want this podcast to reach and touch as many people's lives as possible and help them.
And put it out there.
That's right. I want the same for my friends, and I want them to do the same for me. That's what a friend's for.
Right. And so basically, I'm going to guess this is an exercise, and correct me if I'm wrong, but let's say if you want to exercise this is if you're just finding yourself in a situation where you realize you should exercise this, try to think from within and connect with the world. We call maybe a 50,000 foot viewpoint. So we use that in another podcast I did, but the view from 50,000 feet. So if you're trying to connect with a room or a person, don't just do it on a small scale. Throw it out to the universe and see what happens. And just let it happen. Don't force it. Don't try it. Just give it time. Let it just kind of happen on its own. And over time, you'll realize what Goss is saying here, because it's kind of like you can't like fight it.
With what you're saying, it's like growing a plant. So the farmer's putting seeds down, right? These are called positive or masculine or active traits. You can't force the sun to come faster. Well, you can force a little rain with water, but for the most part, the receptive portion is what you're talking about. You merge the two in a way that you're doing the right actions. You're being led. So you're not afraid to call people and ask for business, all those things. But you're also aware of the spacing. That things take time. That's okay. It's natural. It's part of it. You're not pressing. Your mind's not just on go all the time. You're slowing down and you're looking at your life in a bigger picture naturally, because whether you're changing your body, you're creating a business, it's okay to allow months to occur.
Absolutely.
It's okay. And the whole process is a wonderful experience if you allow for that. And the receptive portion of what we're talking about, I mean, I know a lot of people that they go to church on Sundays to experience that, or they go to yoga class to experience that. Those are great. Anything that brings you in touch with yourself is wonderful. The reality is you can be on the phone with somebody who pisses you off and watch yourself want to become angry. And once you recognize,
I love this.
Your awareness is always making a choice, meaning you. Do you attune to these thoughts of judgment on another person, right? That's all our mind does. It judges, it processes. People say, oh, don't judge. Who cares? Your mind is always doing that. Mm-hmm. Attuning to it is different. And even first is becoming aware of what thoughts and emotions you want to attune to. That's control.
That is awesome.
And it's something that you can train, and I can train all day, every day.
Absolutely. I mean, I love that. And I told you in the last podcast, if you haven't heard the other one, I was laying in bed and I said, I just need to control what I'm about to do right here in this day. I'm getting up and I'm just overwhelmed. I'm just running into all this negative energy in my body. And I just said, okay, I've been training myself for months and months to be aware, to set triggers, to know this. And the trigger came on. So I'm like, okay, here I am. I'm live on stage with this situation of you're about to excuse my language, ruin your day and go in this everlasting hole of misery and negativity, and you can't do everything, you're too busy, blah 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 blah, all that blah 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 blah, right? And I stopped and I just watched from below and looked at it up there and go, oh my God. Right. It's just a thought. It's just a road you can choose to go down if you want to. Right. And by the way, there's roads over here, there's roads over here, or there's other options you can have. Now, is this the magic pill for positive? I disagree. It's not, because I feel personally, and you may correct me on this, but I feel we have things that happen in our lives in negative form, we call it, for a reason, to remind ourselves of gratitude, to remind ourselves of possibility, remind ourselves of how grateful we are for what we have around us. Because if you're getting in a lot of that means you're not paying attention to all the great things that are around you. Family, the car that you're driving, the air you're breathing. I mean, that's like me trying to punch you in the face right now and you trying to... We're in a world with billions of people with their own free will, many of them highly disconnected. It's our response to... If you're in a room with 99 people that have lost touch with reality, okay, that doesn't mean you have to. The numbers don't matter, even if you're the majority. You know, keeping that remembrance of the world can be crazy and is a lot. Right. People do and say crazy things. They'll do things to you, take your money, whatever. And so I look at it like this is just when you're in a reality with lots of other people with their own ambitions and experience, you are going to run across things. It doesn't always mean a lesson is coming from higher, right? It's just experience, how you process it. It's a reminder. It can be used as that, right? It's in and of itself, it's nothing more than a tool for how you process the experience. Yep. It's a test. I mean, a perfect example, you're a sports fan, I'm a sports fan. You know, this whole Tom Brady incident, I mean, he could have just, crawled up in a ball and went away with all that intent. I mean, there's so much intensity about being ridiculed and so on and so forth. We don't know the real answer, and that doesn't really matter in this situation. But bottom line is he's taken that and just taken it to a new level and said, I'm going to stand up to this even more, even harder, even more. I'm going to find even more focus. So you can choose what road you want to take. Oh my God, everybody hates me. Oh my God, I'm bad. I'm bad. No. You can choose to think, I am my own person, just like you said. Everything around the numbers don't matter. It's like what you resonate with and what you want to go in the forward direction with is what I think I'm getting onto. Yeah, no, and I'll use this word. I was reading something the other day about somebody who had claimed that they were enlightened. And I like that term because I like to define things in my own way. I think it's a very simple term. I think millions of people are enlightened, and that means they're aware. And at the end of the day, when you're aware first that you are of light and love, your consciousness, you can't be destroyed. There's only life. I don't mean you believe this. You know this. Anybody can know this. This isn't proprietary. No religion holds a book that gives you something that can't be burned that you couldn't find on your own in a prison cell. This is the beautiful thing about existence. You can always remember the truth. And the interesting thing about remembering means it must already be there. It's not learned. Things in this world are learned. You learn how to ride a bike. Mm-hmm. Didn't know before. Right. Remembering what and who you are changes your reality. Now, the degree, this could be said for a person, the degree of their remembrance of what they are truly is the degree of health that they can create. Same in a society. If lots of people remember, you're going to have a pretty healthy society. If you have billions or a vast percent, high percent that doesn't, it's going to look pretty insane.
That would only make sense if this is the case. So in my estimation is that each person on a journey, and they're learning through thinking how to control it, how to process and deliver and create the life and world that they want. Because you remember over time. It doesn't happen overnight.
I want to ask you a question, kind of revolving back to you, Goss, as a person. I always try to ask this on my show, like, what sparked like this everlasting change in people's life? In other words, they went for a specific direction at one point in time in their life. If you want me to give you an example, I can give you a gentleman friend of mine who started a company. It's going to be $1 billion company. I know it. We all know it. And he realized that he was good at business when he was going to the trash dumpster with his dad, and they went there and they saw a couch there. And he found that couch, and he said to his dad, "Dad, there's a brand new couch right there. Hey, we could sell that." So his dad said, "Okay, let's take that and sell it." So he's like, "I'm going to put it on Craigslist." So he went and put it on Craigslist, and he got handed his first $100 that he earned on his own in his life. And from that moment, it went on. So what's the moment in your life that you decided that I want to think in a different way?
All right. A lot of viewers might want to tune out when I tell you the truth. It's going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
From my earliest of memories, 5 years old,
mm-hmm.
when I would go to bed at night, I would have dark entities attack me. Care how it sounds, right? I'm 41 now,
yeah.
and this was a very real experience. I couldn't talk to my parents about it, right? Who do I go to? Who do you explain? I knew there was something else out there that scared the heck out of me. It was honestly, I was traumatized, and I had some very strange experiences. At the age of 19, this went on. I was 19 years old here at UCSD. I was lying down in bed, and the worst attack, I was physically held down, and this entity was talking through my mouth. I was terrified. First time ever, I asked for help. I don't know why. I said, "Help me."
Right.
This being came that was so bright. I don't know if I ever told you this story.
No.
I mean, like the sun bright, but white. He held out his hand towards this dark thing as it released its grip, and he said, "Dennis, I will heal you too, brother." Okay, I'm awake. I'm not asleep.
Right.
And I already knew there was dark things out there. I didn't realize the vastness of it all, and I didn't realize that there were beings of love and light. And before this entity left, he told me he was Christ. I wasn't even Christian.
Right.
I was like, what? So that was at 19. I wanted answers. And the reality is I wanted to be like that being. I did. Why not, right?
Yeah,
you couldn't mess with
absolutely.
this person. I've been messed with. Now, I have not been attacked since then. I don't think I could. You
Right.
can't get near me. That's
Right.
what I think. I have
Right.
too many allies. But here's something that really interesting happened when I was about 3 years ago. I was trying to write Kings of Peace. And I'd done a video of myself just speaking. And I was watching the video of my own face, right, talking about my experiences like this. I felt this presence. On my shoulder. I knew who it was because it was the same. It had happened many times over the years. And he said, "Keep watching." I knew something was about to happen. In my own face, I started changing forms into like children and Indians and different ethnicities and even different beings from different places. Light started boring holes out of my face until it was nothing but a little ball of light, just like I'd seen 20 years ago.
Wow.
And I knew then, it was one thing to know inside, and I don't know why this happened to me visually. I was stone cold sober, man. Nothing was, I was just making a video on spirituality. I knew that every entity was just light and love, but I'd seen it. It's like coming out of the closet,
Mm-hmm.
but it took me a year to even tell anybody this. I was like, right? How do you say that?
Yeah, exactly.
So now, less and less I care what other people think. I love people. I want them to like me, of course, but, we're doing this, and it doesn't matter to me.
Yeah.
People believe me or not. They'll have their own experiences. I don't want people to believe me.
Right.
I don't care. I want people to experience their own reality of what they are, because that's where the answer is, no matter what somebody tells you. And that's when Kings of Peace was written. 2 days later, I sat down and wrote Kings of Peace in 48 hours after years of training.
Wow.
So that was kind of my story in the, recognition.
That is awesome. I had another guest on that had a similar experience, but he used ayahuasca to gain that experience, that inner understanding. And he explained it very similar to what you said, people coming to kill him and he got saved. So interesting to say that. But let's tell people where they can get a hold of your Kings of Peace writings.
Kingsofpeace.com. It's free. Again, I'm writing some other stuff. I'm on Facebook on Quest 2 Piece, 3 words, and it's mainly poetry, but there's some other fun stuff on there too. Reach out to Dennis if you want to get a hold of me, and I'd like to come on again, man. This was a good time.
This is good stuff. Surely a little easier this time to talk with all the distractions gone. So awesome. This is Goss Lindsey here today, and hopefully you got a better understanding of positive thinking exposed. And I enjoyed this. I hope you guys enjoyed this too. Goss, you obviously enjoyed this.
Oh, man, I loved it. Thanks for having me. That was
awesome.
a good time.
So good. And hopefully the thousands of listeners out there will enjoy this episode along the same way we did. So that's it for today, everybody. We'll be back again soon. Download my ebook for free today and learn all the important secrets to make your website shine. Learn how to rank your website in Google in a matter of days. Also learn how to use Facebook to your advantage by creating interesting posts, great, vibrant business pages. And we'll teach you how to utilize private Facebook groups to educate and update your clients at a moment's notice. So if you're ready to take your business to a new level, download this free ebook today and learn more about the web than you've ever known before. Sign up today and use this platform to create massive change in your life. In order to create massive change, you need a dream. Within the Cody Dog Interactive platform, we've created a vision board where you can allow yourself to grow and dream and put the things you really want into your life in this vision board. From there, the next step is to go and make goals. We create a great place for you to set up those goals and set up tasks to achieve those goals. From there, then we need accountability. We've created a great way for you to be accountable to yourself and all the actions you have right here in the Cody Dog Interactive platform. If you're looking to create massive change in your life, Cody Dog Interactive has created a platform and a community for you to do just that. So sign up today and hold yourself accountable for that massive change you've been looking for.